Kofi was a man that everybody in the village knew very well. He was rich and successful. He owned a big store where he sold cloth, spices, and many other things that people needed every day. His store was the busiest place in all of Akasambo village. Every morning people would come to buy things from him, and every evening his shop would be full of customers. Kofi was a good businessman. He was honest with his customers and he never cheated anyone. This made him very popular in the village. Kofi's family was also very important. His father had been a successful trader before him, and his mother came from a family of chiefs. His brothers and sisters all had good jobs and good lives. The whole family lived in the biggest house in the village. It was a beautiful house made of strong wood and stone. People would point at it and say, "That is the house of the great Kofi family." Kofi's family was proud of their name and their money. For many years, Kofi was happy with his life. He had money, respect, and friends. Many young women from good families wanted to marry him. Their parents would come to his house with gifts, hoping he would choose their daughters. Kofi's mother and father wanted him to marry a woman from a rich family, someone who would make their family even more powerful. They talked to him about this many times. They said, "Kofi, you must marry a woman who is like us. She must come from a good family. She must have education. She must know how to run a big house and help you become more important." But one day everything changed. Kofi met a girl named Zainab. She was not from a rich family. She was not educated. She did not wear fine clothes or beautiful jewelry. Her father was a farmer who worked in the fields. Her mother was a woman who helped other women give birth to babies. Zainab lived in a small house at the edge of the village, far from the big houses where the important people lived. Kofi first saw Zainab at the market. She was selling vegetables that her father had grown. She was sitting under a big tree with baskets of tomatoes, peppers, and green leaves. When Kofi walked past, she smiled at him. It was not a smile that wanted something from him. It was a simple, honest smile. She did not know who he was. She did not care that he was rich. She just smiled because she was happy. Something in that smile touched Kofi's heart. He started going to the market more often, and every time he saw Zainab, he felt something different inside him. He would talk to her about simple things. She would tell him stories about the village, about the people, about life. She was kind and she listened carefully to everything people said. When older people came to buy vegetables from her, she would help them carry their baskets. When children came, she would give them extra vegetables and laugh with them. Kofi saw that this girl was different. She had something special that no other girl had. One day, Kofi asked Zainab if he could visit her family. Her parents were surprised. They did not expect a rich man like Kofi to come to their small house. But they welcomed him with respect and gave him water and food. Kofi sat with Zainab's father and talked about farming and life. He talked with Zainab's mother about her work helping women. He realized that these people, even though they were poor, had kind hearts and good characters. After this visit, Kofi knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to marry Zainab. He told his parents about his decision. At first, his mother and father did not believe him. They thought he was joking. Then, when they understood that he was serious, they became very angry. "No, Kofi," his mother said. "You cannot marry this girl. She is from a poor family. She has no education. She does not know how to be the wife of a man like you. She will bring shame to our name. What will people say about us? Everyone will laugh at us." His father said, "You are making a big mistake, my son. Think about your future. Think about your business. A woman like this cannot help you become more successful. You need a woman from a good family, someone who knows how to act in front of important people." His brothers and sisters also tried to stop him. "Do not do this," they said. "People will think that something is wrong with you. People will think you have become crazy. Our family will lose respect." But Kofi was sure about his decision. He loved Zainab and he believed that she was the right woman for him. He went to Zainab's family and asked her father for permission to marry her. Zainab's family was shocked. They were poor and Kofi was rich. They were afraid that Kofi might be making fun of them. But when they saw how much he loved their daughter, they agreed to the marriage. The wedding day came. Many people from the village came to see what would happen. When they heard that Kofi was marrying a poor girl from the edge of the village, they laughed. They laughed at Kofi. They laughed at Zainab. They said mean things about both of them. "Did you see what Kofi did?" people whispered to each other. "He married a girl with no family. He married a girl who has nothing. He must be crazy." "That poor girl," other people said. "She is lucky that a rich man married her, but she does not know how to be his wife. She will fail. She will make him sorry." Kofi's friends made jokes about him. "Your new wife does not even know which fork to use when she eats," they said laughing. She will embarrass you in front of important people. Even the people who worked in Kofi's shop were not kind. They thought that Zainab was not good enough to be the wife of their boss. Some customers stopped coming to his shop because they did not want to see this poor woman as Kofi's wife. Kofi's family did not speak to him for many days. His mother would not look at him. His father told him that he was not welcome in the family house anymore. His brothers said that he was no longer their brother. The big, beautiful house where his family lived became a place where Kofi was not allowed to go. At night, in his own house with his new wife, Kofi sometimes felt sad about what his family said. But when he looked at Zainab, he felt sure that he had made the right choice. He could see that she was trying very hard to learn new things and to be a good wife. She was not unhappy about the things people said. She was quiet and strong inside. Zainab never complained about the way people treated her. She never said angry words about Kofi's family or his friends. Instead, she worked hard every day to take care of their house and to learn about Kofi's business. She listened to everything Kofi told her and she asked good questions. She was gentle, but she was also very strong. The village people continued to laugh and make jokes. But Kofi and Zainab stayed together, quiet and sure, waiting for time to show everyone the truth about their love and their marriage. The first weeks after the wedding were quiet and hard for Kofi and Zainab. The village people continued to laugh at them. Kofi's family still would not speak to him. But inside their small house, something beautiful was happening that nobody else could see. Kofi was learning that his wife had a kind of strength and wisdom that was more valuable than all the money in the world. One morning, just 2 weeks after the wedding, a man came to Kofi's shop. His name was Ya and he was very angry. He was shouting and his face was red. "Kofi," he said, "I need your help. I have a big problem with my neighbor, Kwesi. We had an agreement about the land between our two farms, but now Kwesi says the agreement was different from what I remember. He says the land belongs to him, but I know it belongs to me. We have been fighting for 3 days and now we are no longer speaking. Everyone in the village is taking sides. Please, you are a wise man. Tell me what I should do. Should I take this to the chief?" Kofi listened to Ya's problem. He could see that Ya was hurt and angry. But Kofi did not know the answer. He did not know what the agreement had been, and he did not know which man was right. So he said to Ya, "Come to my house this evening. My wife may be able to help us think about this problem." When Ya heard that Kofi wanted his wife to help, he almost laughed. But he was so desperate that he agreed to come. That evening Ya came to Kofi's house. Zainab welcomed him with respect. She gave him water and food. Then she said, "Ya, I know you have a problem with Kwesi. Before we talk about the land, tell me about Kwesi. Tell me about him as a person. Tell me about his family." Ya was surprised by this question. He started to talk. He said, "Kwesi is a good man, really? He is honest. His father died 2 years ago, and now he takes care of his mother and his 3 young children. His wife works very hard in the fields. His children are good children." Zainab listened. Then she said, "And you, Ya? Tell me about your family. Tell me about what is important to you." Ya talked for a long time. He told Zainab about his wife, who was sick and needed medicine. He told her about his dream to have enough land so his children could have good lives. He talked about his fear that without more land, he could not take care of his family the way he wanted to. When Ya finished talking, Zainab said something that was very wise. "Ya, you and Kwesi are not enemies. You are both men who love your families and want to take care of them. The problem is not really about the land. The problem is that you are both afraid. You are afraid that you will not have enough. Kwesi is afraid that you will take his land and he will not be able to take care of his mother and children. You are afraid that he will take your land and you will not be able to take care of your wife and children. The land is just the reason you are fighting, but the real problem is fear." Ya sat very quiet. He was thinking about what Zainab said. It was true. He was afraid. Then Zainab said, "Tomorrow you should go to Kwesi's house. But do not go to fight. Go to listen. Ask Kwesi to tell you about his fear. Ask him to tell you about his mother and his children. And then, maybe you can both think of a way that you can help each other instead of hurting each other." Ya did what Zainab told him to do. The next day he went to Kwesi's house. He talked to Kwesi and Kwesi talked to him. They discovered that they had both been wrong about what the other man wanted. They realized that together they could work out a solution that would help both families. In the end, they decided to share the land. Ya would farm one part and Kwesi would farm another part. And they promised to help each other during the busy times when there was much work to do. After this, Ya came back to Kofi's house and told him what had happened. He looked at Zainab with new respect and said, "Your wife is a very wise woman, Kofi. Thank you for helping me." After Ya left, more people came to Kofi's house with their problems. A woman came because her sister had said mean words to her, and they were not speaking. A young man came because he did not know if he should marry the girl he loved or wait to become richer. An old man came because his son wanted to move to the city, and the father was sad and angry about it. Every time someone came with a problem, Zainab would listen very carefully. She would ask questions that helped people understand their own hearts. She would help them see the other person's point of view. She would not tell people what to do, but she would help them find their own answers. Very slowly, people began to understand that Zainab was special. The village women started to come to her and talk about their lives. She taught them things that her mother had taught her. She showed them how to grow better gardens. She showed them how to make medicine from plants when people were sick. She taught them how to make strong cloth and beautiful things for their houses. One day, a young girl came to Zainab. The girl's name was Amma, and she was sad because people at school said she was not smart enough. Zainab sat with Amma and said, "Amma, come with me." She took the girl to her garden and showed her all the plants growing there. She said, "Look at all these plants. Each one grows in its own way. Some grow tall and fast. Some grow short and strong. Some grow slowly. But all of them are beautiful, and all of them have something important to give to the world. You are like one of these plants. You may not learn the same way as other children, but that does not mean you are not smart. Your kind of smart is different, and different can be very good." Amma felt better after talking to Zainab. She started to come to Zainab's house every day and learn from her. Amma's mother came too, and she learned how to see her daughter in a new way. Kofi watched all of this happening. He saw that his wife did not have education from school, but she had a kind of education that came from life itself. She understood people. She understood their hearts. She understood what they really needed. She was more intelligent than many of the educated people he knew, because her intelligence was real and useful. It came from a pure heart and from watching life very carefully. One evening, Kofi said to Zainab, "I am so proud of you. When I married you, people laughed at me. But now I see that I married a woman who is worth more than gold. You have a gift that no school can teach. You help people become better versions of themselves. You help them understand their own hearts." Zainab smiled at her husband. She said, "Kofi, I did not go to school, but my mother taught me the most important things. She taught me to listen. She taught me to see the good in people. She taught me that everyone has a reason for what they do, and if we understand their reason, we can understand them. This is what I know." As the weeks passed, more and more people saw that Zainab had a different kind of strength. It was not the strength of money or education. It was the strength of understanding, kindness, and wisdom. The village was beginning to change the way it thought about her, even though most people did not yet understand why. The rains did not come that year. By the middle of the dry season, the sky was empty and the sun burned down on the village every single day. The fields that should have been green with growing plants were brown and dead. The wells that usually had plenty of water began to dry up. The rivers that ran through the village became smaller and smaller until they were just small streams, and then they disappeared completely. At first, people thought the rains would come soon. They waited and watched the sky. But days passed and the sky stayed empty and blue. Weeks passed and still no rain came. The farmers looked at their dying crops and felt afraid. The mothers worried about how they would feed their children. The old people remembered stories of great droughts that had killed many people and destroyed villages. Kofi's shop was still full of customers, but they came with worry in their hearts. People were afraid that there would not be enough food. Prices for food started to go up and up. Farmers who had grown food were now keeping it in their houses because they were afraid there would not be enough for their own families. Some people started to hide food and not share it with their neighbors. Fear was growing in the village like a sickness. One morning, Kofi woke up and saw that Zainab was already awake. She had been thinking about the drought all night. She said to her husband, "Kofi, this drought is very bad. It will hurt many people. But we can do something. We can help our village. We can make sure that no one dies from hunger or thirst." Kofi said, "What can we do, Zainab? We are just two people. This is a big problem." Zainab said, "We are not just two people. We have a community. We have neighbors who love each other. If we work together, we can save everyone." That day, Zainab went to talk to the village chief. She said, "Chief, I want to help the village during this drought. I want to organize the people so that we can all survive together. Will you help me?" The chief was an old man who had seen many difficult times. He had heard about how Zainab had helped solve problems in the village. He trusted her. He said, "Yes, Zainab. Tell me what you want to do and I will help you." Zainab made a plan. First, she went to every house in the village. She asked people how much food they had and how much water they could find. She asked them about their families and their needs. She wrote everything down carefully. Then she called a big meeting in the center of the village. When everyone came to the meeting, Zainab stood up and said, "My people, we are facing a very hard time. But we do not have to face it alone. We do not have to be afraid. If we work together, we can make sure that everyone in our village survives this drought. No child will go hungry. No old person will die of thirst. But we all have to help. We all have to be strong together." Then she explained her plan. She said, "Everyone will give their food to a central place. I will organize it fairly. We will share the food so that everyone gets enough to eat. Families with small children will get a little more. Old people will get what they need. Strong workers will get enough to work hard. Everyone will have enough." Some people were worried. They said, "Zainab, if I give my food to the community, how do I know I will get enough? Maybe people will not be fair. Maybe powerful people will take more than others." Zainab said, "I will be fair. You can trust me. I will make sure that every family gets exactly what they need. I will write down everything. The chief will watch me. You can watch me. Everyone will see that I am fair." Kofi said to the people, "My wife is right. I trust her with my life. You should trust her too." After this, people started to bring their food and their water to a central place. Zainab organized everything with great care. She made lists of every family. She measured out food fairly. Families with more children got more food. Old people got soft food that was easy to eat. People who were sick got food that would help them get better. But Zainab did not just organize food. She also taught people how to save water. She said, "Water is more important than food right now. We must use every drop carefully." She showed people how to catch water when it rained a little bit. She showed them how to dig deeper wells and find water underground. She taught them to use water only for drinking and cooking, not for washing or cleaning. She showed mothers how to give water to their children in small amounts many times a day, instead of giving them a lot at once. Zainab also organized people to work together. She said, "We have old wells that are almost dry. Let us dig them deeper. We have rocks that can be used to build walls to keep water from evaporating. We have plants that need very little water. Let us plant those instead of the plants that need much water." People started to work together. Men dug the wells. Women and children carried water and brought food to the workers. Old people sat under trees and told stories to keep everyone's spirits strong. Slowly, the village started to feel less afraid and more hopeful. 3 months into the drought, something amazing happened. The well that people had dug became deeper and deeper, and they found water. It was not much water, but it was enough. The village had water. People cried with joy. But the food was still running short. Some people started to whisper that Zainab was not giving them enough to eat. A man named Kwame said, "Zainab is keeping food for herself and Kofi. That is why we do not have enough." When Zainab heard this, she did something that showed her true character. She called another meeting. She said, "People, some of you think I am keeping food for myself. Come to my house. Look at everything I eat. Look at my body. Look at my face. I am thinner than anyone in the village. I have been eating less than anyone else because I want to make sure that all of you have enough." And it was true. Zainab was very thin. She had given away most of her own food to other people. She had been eating very little so that the children and the old people could eat more. When people saw this, they felt ashamed of doubting her. Kwame came to her and said, "Zainab, I am sorry. I was wrong. You are the bravest person I know." After that, people believed in Zainab completely. They followed her instructions. They worked hard. They shared with each other. And slowly the village survived. When the rains finally came, 6 months after they stopped, the village was still alive. No one had died. No child had gone hungry. No old person had died of thirst. People realized that Zainab had saved them. Without her leadership and her wisdom, many people would have died. Without her fairness and her sacrifice, the community would have broken apart into fighting and selfishness. The rains came and the crops grew again. The village became green and alive once more. The wells filled with water. People had food to eat again, and they did not have to worry about survival. But something had changed in the village forever. The way people thought about Zainab had completely changed, and the way they thought about Kofi had changed too. One day the village chief called a big gathering. He sent messages to all the elders and to all the people in Akasambo village. He said that there would be a special ceremony in the center of the village, under the big baobab tree. Kofi did not know what this ceremony was about, But Zainab had a feeling that something important was going to happen. When the time came, the whole village gathered under the big tree. There were hundreds of people. The elders sat in front, and the chief sat in the middle. The chief stood up and looked at all the people. He said, "My people, we are here because we want to honor someone who has done something great for our village. We are here because we want to recognize someone who has shown us what real strength and real character look like." The chief looked directly at Zainab and said, "Zainab, will you come and stand here with me?" Zainab felt shy, but she stood up and walked to stand next to the chief. Kofi felt so proud of his wife that his heart seemed to grow bigger in his chest. The chief said, "When you first married Kofi, many of us laughed at you. We thought you were not good enough for him. We thought you did not have the education or the background to be the wife of a successful man. We were wrong. We were very wrong. We did not understand that true education comes from the heart, not from books. We did not understand that true strength comes from character, not from money or family name." The chief continued, "When the drought came, you taught us how to survive together. You organized our food. You made sure everyone ate fairly. You taught us to save water. You dug wells. You gave away your own food so that our children could eat. You worked harder than anyone and you became thinner and weaker, but you never stopped trying to help us. Because of you, no one died. Because of you, our village survived." Then the chief did something that showed great respect. He took off his special hat and bowed to Zainab. All the elders stood up and bowed to her. Then all the people in the village stood up and bowed to her. Zainab had tears in her eyes. The chief said, "Zainab, today I want to give you a new name. From this day forward, you will be called Zainab the Wise, Zainab the Strong, Zainab the Savior. This name will be remembered in our village forever. Your children and your children's children will know that you saved us. Every family in this village will tell their children the story of what you did." Then the chief gave Zainab a special cloth made of the finest material in the village. It was gold and red and blue with beautiful patterns. He said, "This cloth shows that you are honored. Wear it with pride. Everyone in this village will see it and remember that you are our greatest treasure." After this ceremony, everything changed for Zainab and Kofi. They were no longer the couple that people laughed at. They became the couple that people looked up to and respected. Young girls in the village started to follow Zainab everywhere. They wanted to learn from her. They wanted to be like her. Girls who had not wanted to work in the fields now wanted to learn how to grow food better. Girls who had thought education was not important now asked Zainab to teach them how to read and write. Zainab opened a small school in her house and every day girls would come to learn. One girl named Amma said to Zainab, "I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be wise and strong and help my village." Zainab said, "Amma, you can be even better than me. You can go to school and learn from books. You can learn how to help people in new ways. Use your education to help your community, and you will become greater than I am." Families started to seek Zainab's counsel about everything. A man whose son wanted to marry came to ask Zainab what to do. A woman whose child was sick came to ask Zainab what medicine to use. A farmer whose crops were not growing well came to ask Zainab how to make the soil better. A young man who did not know what work to do came to ask Zainab what would be good for him. Zainab helped everyone. She never said no to anyone who came to her with a problem. She would listen and she would help them find an answer. People realized that she had knowledge about so many things. She knew about plants and medicine. She knew about farming. She knew about family problems. She knew about business. She knew about fairness and justice. She was like a library of wisdom that was always open to everyone. Kofi's feeling about his wife also changed. Before he had loved her quietly. He had believed in her even when no one else did. But he had kept his feelings mostly to himself. Now he was proud to tell everyone about her. When people came to his shop he would talk about Zainab. He would say, "My wife is the wisest woman in this village. She saved us all. I am the luckiest man alive." One day, a rich merchant from another village came to Kofi's shop. This merchant was the kind of man that Kofi's family wanted him to be married to someone like. The merchant said, "Kofi, I hear that you are married to a woman from a poor family. Is that true? How do you bear the shame?" Kofi stood up very straight and said, "There is no shame. My wife is the most honored woman in this village. She has saved our lives. She has made our community stronger. You should thank heaven if you could have a wife like mine. My wife is worth more than all the gold in the world." The merchant felt ashamed and he left the shop. Kofi's family also came back to him. His mother came to his house one day. She said, "Kofi, I was wrong. Your father was wrong. We did not understand. Your wife is a great woman. We are sorry that we did not believe in her. We are sorry that we did not believe in you. Can you forgive us? Kofi hugged his mother and she cried. His father came and bowed to Zainab and asked for her forgiveness. His brothers and sisters came to the house and apologized. Zainab forgave them all with a gentle heart. She said, I do not hold anger in my heart. You did not understand, but now you do. That is what matters. We are a family again. The village started to tell stories about Kofi and Zainab's marriage. They said, Kofi saw something in Zainab that no one else could see. He had faith in her when everyone else laughed at him. And because of his faith, his wife became our greatest leader. Their marriage is a lesson for all of us. It teaches us that we should not judge people by their family or their money or their education. We should judge them by their heart and their character. People began to see the marriage of Kofi and Zainab as something beautiful and important. It was no longer a scandal. It was a love story. It was a story of how one man's belief in one woman changed an entire village. One evening, Kofi and Zainab sat together outside their house and watched the sunset. Kofi said, Zainab, do you remember when people laughed at us? Zainab smiled and said, Yes, I remember. Kofi said, I knew they would stop laughing one day. I knew that the world would understand who you really are. I'm so glad that I was right. You are the most wonderful woman in the world. I love you more than anything. Zainab took her husband's hand and said, And I love you, Kofi. Because you believed in me when I did not even believe in myself. Because you stood by me when everyone was against me. You are the reason I became strong. You gave me the courage to help others. The marriage that had started as a scandal became the most beautiful partnership in the village. Young couples would look at Kofi and Zainab and say, We want a love like that. We want to believe in each other like that. We want to help our community like that. The village understood at last that Kofi had not made a mistake when he married Zainab. He had made the smartest decision of his life. And together, they had made their village better and stronger than it had ever been before. 10 years had passed since the drought. Kofi and Zainab were no longer young, but they were happier than they had ever been. The village had grown bigger and stronger. The fields produced more food than ever before. The wells never ran dry. Life was good in Akasambo village, and everyone knew that this was because of the wisdom and hard work of Kofi and Zainab. But Kofi and Zainab wanted to do more. They wanted to help people in new ways. One evening they sat in their house and talked about their dreams for the future. Kofi said, Zainab, many people come to us with their problems. Many young people want to learn from you. Many people want to know how to do business better. What if we had a place where we could teach more people? What if we had a center where people could come to learn? Zainab's face became bright with happiness. She said, Kofi, that is a wonderful idea. We could teach people practical things. We could help them become better at what they do. We could help them understand themselves better. Kofi and Zainab decided to build a learning center. They found a big piece of land near the center of the village. They built beautiful buildings with strong walls and good roofs. They made classrooms where people could sit and learn. They made a garden where they could grow plants and teach people about farming. They made a space where people could sit and talk about their problems. When the learning center was finished, Kofi and Zainab invited everyone in the village to come and see it. The chief came and the elders came. Families came. Young people came. Old people came. Kofi stood in front of everyone and said, This learning center is a gift to our village. My wife and I want to share everything we know. We want to help you become better at your work. We want to help you understand your lives better. We want to help you help each other. Everyone is welcome here. Everyone can come and learn. The learning center became a special place in the village. In the mornings, Zainab taught classes. She taught young girls how to grow gardens and how to make medicine from plants. She taught women how to manage money and how to solve problems in their families. She taught men how to understand their wives and their children better. She taught young people how to make good decisions about their lives. But Zainab did not just teach from books or from talking. She taught by example. She would take students to her garden and show them how to plant seeds and care for plants. She would sit with families and help them talk about their problems. She would help people understand why they felt angry or sad or worried. She would help them see solutions that they could not see by themselves. In the afternoons, Kofi taught classes about business. He taught people how to start their own shops and businesses. He taught them how to buy and sell fairly. He taught them how to keep records of their money. He taught them how to understand customers and give them good service. He taught them how to grow their business slowly and carefully. Kofi did not teach only about making money. He taught about making business a way to help people. He said, a good business is not just about making money for yourself. A good business is about giving people something they need and treating them fairly. If you do this, you will make money, and you will also make your community stronger. Young people started to come to the learning center and learn from Kofi and Zainab. They would learn and then they would go out into the village and start their own businesses. They would grow food and sell it fairly. They would make cloth and sell it. They would start shops. But they would do it in the way that Kofi and Zainab had taught them. They would be fair. They would help their community. They would treat people with respect. One young man named Kweku came to the learning center when he was 17 years old. He had no father and his family was very poor. He did not know what to do with his life. Kofi took Kweku as a student, and he taught him everything about business. Zainab taught Kweku about how to understand people and help them. After 3 years, Kweku started his own business buying and selling rice. He was honest and fair. He became successful. Then he taught other poor young people how to do business just like Kofi had taught him. A young girl named Amma came to the learning center when she was 15. Her family wanted her to stop going to school and just get married and have children. But Amma wanted to learn more. Zainab taught Amma about farming and about medicine. She also taught Amma how to read and write better. Now Amma helps Zainab teach other girls. She has become a leader in the village and she helps women with their health problems. The learning center also became a place where people could come with their problems and find peace. People would come when they had conflicts with their family members. They would come when they were sad or worried. They would come when they did not know what to do with their lives. Zainab would listen to them. Kofi would help them think about their problems. Together they would help people find their own answers and their own peace. One man named Osei came to the learning center because he was very angry with his son. His son wanted to become a teacher, but Osei wanted his son to become a farmer like him. Osei said to Kofi, "My son does not respect our family traditions. He thinks farming is not important. I am very angry with him." Kofi listened to Osei. Then he said, "Osei, let me ask you something. Why do you want to be a farmer?" Osei said, "Because it is what my father did and his father did. It is our family tradition." Kofi said, "But why did your father want to be a farmer? Was it because his father did it or was it because farming was what he loved?" Osei was quiet. He said, "I think my father loved farming. I love farming too. I love working in the earth. I love watching things grow." Kofi said, "Then your real tradition is not farming. Your real tradition is doing what you love and doing it well. If your son loves teaching, then he is following your real tradition, even if he is not doing it the same way you do. Your son will help people grow just like you help plants grow. It is the same thing, just different." Osei listened to Kofi's words and he understood. He went to his son and said, "I was wrong. I want you to be a teacher. I want you to follow your heart. I am proud of you." The learning center became a place where people healed their broken hearts and their broken families. It became a sanctuary. That is what people called it. They said, "The learning center is a sanctuary where people find peace and healing." Years passed and Kofi and Zainab grew older. They had children and their children learned from them and helped them run the learning center. Their grandchildren also learned and helped. The learning center grew bigger and bigger. Students came from other villages to learn from Kofi and Zainab. One day, a group of people from the national capital came to visit the learning center. They wanted to see what was happening there. They saw young people learning about business. They saw families talking about their problems and finding solutions. They saw Zainab teaching about plants and farming. They saw Kofi teaching about how to help people and treat them fairly. The visitors said, "This is amazing. You should share what you are doing with other villages. You should teach other people how to create learning centers like this one." Kofi and Zainab agreed to help other villages. They traveled to other places and taught people how to create learning centers. Slowly, the ideas of Kofi and Zainab spread to other villages. Other communities started to value practical wisdom and helping each other, just like Akasambo village did. One evening, when Kofi and Zainab were old and had gray hair, they sat together under the baobab tree where the chief had honored Zainab many years ago. Kofi said, "Zainab, do you know what real victory is? Real victory is not making money. Real victory is not becoming famous. Real victory is helping people become better versions of themselves. Real victory is creating a place where people can heal and learn and grow." Zainab said, "Yes, Kofi. And I know what real love is too. Real love is not just feeling something for one person. Real love is extending that feeling to your whole community. Real love is helping people see their own worth. When you married me and believed in me, you showed me real love. And now we are sharing that love with thousands of people." Kofi said, "I have truly pleased you by recognizing your worth and standing by you when no one else did. And you have truly pleased me by being yourself. You did not try to be someone else. You did not pretend to be more educated or richer than you were. You just shared your real self with the world, and that real self is the most beautiful thing I have ever known. Zainab said, and together we have pleased our community. We have made them happier and stronger. We have shown them that love and wisdom and hard work can change everything. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and red and pink. The village was quiet and peaceful around them. Children played in the distance. Women were cooking dinner. Men were coming home from their work. It was a good village. It was a strong village. It was a village that had learned to value what was real and true. Years later, when Kofi and Zainab had passed away, the people of the village would still tell their story. They would say, once there was a man who married a woman that everyone laughed at. But he believed in her, and she became the greatest person in our village. They showed us that true value does not come from money or education or family name. True value comes from the heart and from character. They taught us that when we believe in each other and help each other, we can create something beautiful. The learning center that Kofi and Zainab built still stands in Akasambo village. Many people have learned there. Many families have been healed there. Many young people have become successful there. And it all started because one man had the courage to marry the woman he loved, even when the whole world laughed at him. That is the real victory. That is the real story of Kofi and Zainab. It is a story about love, about faith, about wisdom, and about how two people can change the world by being true to themselves and to each other.